2000 vocabulary words, set 13. Lynch. To kill someone without a fair trial in court because they allegedly committed some sort of crime. Maelstrom. Extremely turbulent and violent water that rapidly moves in a circular direction. A violent or tumultuous situation. Magnanimity. Generosity. Magnanimous. Kind, generous, or forgiving in overlooking injury or insult, especially towards a rival or less powerful person, free from petty resentfulness or vindictiveness. High-minded, generous and noble. Magnate. A very successful or very important person in a specific industry. Maintain. To keep something at the same level, rate or condition. To continue. To firmly declare or assert. Maintenance. Financial support given from one ex-spouse to another. Upkeep. The act of maintaining. Major. Quite important. Serious. Large. More important. Maladroit. Awkward. Clumsy. Inept. Unskilled. Malady. An illness, disease or ailment. A major problem. Malediction. A curse or the act of saying a curse. Speaking in a defamatory or evil way. Malefactor. A person that does things that are illegal, a criminal. A person that does evil. Malevolent. Causing or wanting to cause harm or evil to another or others, malicious, evil. Malingerer. A person who fakes being ill in order to avoid work or a duty they are supposed to perform. Malleable. Of a metal or other material, able to be hammered, pounded, or pressed into various shapes without breaking or cracking. Easily influenced, trained, or controlled, adaptable. Mallet. A hammer or a hammer-like tool. A stick with a spherical padded head that is used to play specific percussion instruments. A long-handled wooden hammer used to play croquet. Manifold. Multiple or many in number. Varied or consisting of multiple parts or elements. Plentiful, numerous. Manipulate. To change or modify, especially to suit one's purposes. To handle. To influence or control someone. Manual. A guidebook that tells one how to operate or use something. An instruction book. Margin. A border or edge. The difference between the cost of production of a good and the amount at which it is sold. Marginal. Not important. Quite small. On the margin or border. Marred. Damaged or disfigured by injury or rough wear, spoiled, impaired. marshal. To organize or arrange things or people. To ceremoniously lead people. Marsupial. Any animal that has a pouch in which its young stay until they are fully developed and able to survive outside of the pouch. Martinet. A person who demands that others follow the laws or rules exactly. An extremely strict person. Masochist. A person who enjoys being in pain or gets pleasure from pain. A person who enjoys suffering or being in a negative situation. Mature. To grow old. To develop. To ripen. Maudlin. Self-pityingly or tearfully sentimental, especially in a foolish or annoying way. Foolishly tearful or sentimental, especially when you are drunk. Maverick. A person who refuses to follow the customs or rules of or resists adherence to a group. Mawkish. Sickening or nauseating. Overly emotional or excessively sentimental, often in a false way. Maxim. A general truth that someone lives by. A rule of conduct. A proverb. Maximise. To make as large as possible. To make the most of something. To use something in a way that allows one to get the best possible result. Maximum. The highest possible amount or largest quantity. Meager. Meek or feeble. Inadequate. Deficient in quantity, less than is needed or necessary. Meander. To walk slowly and without purpose or without direction. To follow a winding path. To randomly wander. Mechanism. A machine or device. The working parts of a machine. Media. Companies or institutions that report the news through the television, radio, press, internet, etc. Mass communication when considered as a whole. Mediate. To settle disputes through negotiation. To be an intermediary. To work with opposing sides to reach an agreement. Medium. A way of expressing something, such as photography or print. Something in a middle position. Surrounding objects, environment. Melancholy. A feeling of sadness, depression, and of being without hope, typically with no obvious cause. Menagerie. A collection of animals that are kept in cages and exhibited for the public. A place where a collection of animals is kept. A diverse group. Mendacious. Deceptive and untruthful. False. Lying. Middle. Related to or involving the mind. Existing in the mind. Mercenary. Working or acting only for money or other reward. A professional soldier hired to serve in a foreign army, guerrilla organization, etc. mercurial. Changing mood or opinion unexpectedly, suddenly, and often. Volatile, erratic, unstable. Lively and continuously active. Merge. To put two or more things together, to unite, to combine. Method. A way of doing something. An approach. A technique. Meticulous. Extremely concerned with details. Thorough and precise. Finicky. Mettle. Resilience, stamina, fortitude and courage. The ability to deal with situations that are considered difficult. Temperament. Migrate. To move from one region or country to another. Migration. The movement of people or animals from one reason to another, based on a variety of different reasons. Milieu. Setting. Environment. The conditions and people that create a person's environment. Military. Related to soldiers, the army, or armed conflict. Done or made by soldiers. Minimal. The least or fewest possible. Extremely small. Negligible. Minimize. To make something smaller. To reduce as much as possible in amount or degree. To make something seem less important. Minimum. The smallest or least amount of something possible. The smallest size possible. Ministry. A government department that is in charge of a specific task or subject. The job of being a preacher or a priest. Minor. Of little importance. Small or secondary. Not valuable. Not serious. Minute. Extremely small. Mire. To entangle or trap. To cause to stick or get stuck. To soil or stain with mud. Misanthrope. A person who hates or distrusts all people and avoids involvement with human society. Miserly. A person who is reluctant or unhappy to spend money. A person who is not charitable or thoughtful with others. Misnomer. A name, term, designation, or description that is incorrect or unsuitable for a person or thing. Misogynist. A person, especially a man, who hates or strongly dislikes women, or who believes that men are much better than women. Mitigate. Make something less severe, serious, painful, harmful, unpleasant, or bad. Mode. A fashion. A way of doing something or performing a task. Modicum. A limited amount of something. A small object. A reduced quantity. Modify. To make changes to something. To adjust or alter. Momentous. Extremely important, especially in reference to the future or future events. Weighty. Monitor. To watch someone or something. To check on something or someone in order to detect changes. To supervise. Monotonous. Repetitive and boring. Lacking variety. Dull. Wearisome. Moratorium. A temporary or permanent stoppage. A legally authorized or ordered stoppage of payments by a debtor due to an emergency or unforeseen circumstances. A pause. Moribund. Near death. Near extinction or obsoleteness. Stagnant or not active. Morose. Austere and churlish. Ill-tempered. Bleak or dreary in nature. Showing a gloomy attitude. Motivation. The enthusiasm, interest or reason for doing something. Motive. One of the reasons behind someone's behavior. Something that inspires someone to behave in a certain way. A motif. Motley. A heterogeneous group. Polychromatic. Characterized by variety. Multifarious. Characterized by variety. Largely diverse. Composed of a wide variety of parts or elements. Mundane. Ordinary and not interesting or exciting. Relating to the world and practical matters instead of heavenly or spiritual ones, worldly, earthly. Munificent. Very generous. Liberal with one's giving of money. Lavish. Mutinous. Rebellious and uncontrollable. Refusing to accept authority. Unruly, disobedient. Mutual. Shared between two or more parties. Held in common. Myriad. A large number, often one that is too large to count. A great deal of people or things. Nadir. The point opposite the zenith on a sphere, directly below the observer. The lowest, worst point in a situation. Nascent. Emerging or beginning to exist. Recently formed or started. Developing. Navigable. Safe, wide, and deep enough to allow the passage or transit of ships. Able to be directed or steered. Nebulous. Vague, ambiguous, missing a definitive shape or definition. Cloud-like. Misty, foggy. Nefarious. Extremely wicked, criminal, evil, immoral, sinful. Negate. To deny something or say something isn't true. To cancel something out, to nullify. Negative. Pessimistic, harmful or bad, expressing or showing no, expressing disapproval. Negligence. Failure to take the proper amount of care in a specific situation, often causing damage or harm. The state or quality of being negligent. Carelessness. Neologism. A word or phrase which has only recently been invented or coined. A new meaning for a word that already exists. Neophyte. A newcomer to a specific belief, a proselyte. A person who has only recently started to participate in a subject or an activity. Nettle. To bother or annoy. To provoke. To irritate or sting as if with nettles. Network. A large system of smaller interconnected parts. A system of interconnected people or things. A group of people who are related in some way. Neutral. Impartial. Not supporting either side involved in a conflict. Nevertheless. In spite of. Notwithstanding. However. Noisome. Very unpleasant, offensive or disgusting, as an odor. Harmful, dangerous, or injurious, especially to health. Nomadic. Constantly moving from place to place without a fixed pattern. Itinerant. Pertaining to a wandering tribe. Nominal. Insignificant. In name, but not in practice. Very small.